This is Rummy's Corner. Coming up on August 21st in a championship contest that will be televised on Fox pay-per-view, Manny Pacquiao will challenge the unified IBF WBC welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. Pacquiao is technically still the WBA champion in recess, whatever the hell that means, but Pacquiao never lost the WBA trinket in the ring. And regardless, this is undoubtedly one of the very best welterweight fights that can be made at this time. We last saw Spence in action last December when he successfully defended his unified championship with a 12-round unanimous decision victory against Danny Garcia. For Spence, that was the first fight he had since suffering injuries in a serious car accident in 2019, and as far as my untrained eye could tell, Spence didn't show any ill effects. It was a strong performance from Spence where he put forth a workmanlike effort. Spence did what Spence does best, and he was effectively applying pressure against the talented and durable Garcia. The last time we saw a Pacquiao fight was way back in July of 2019. Pac-Man had a magical turn-back-the-clock type of performance in that one when he was awarded a 12-round split decision against Keith Thurman. With the victory, Pacquiao became the oldest boxer to win a major world title at welterweight, and he likewise became the first boxer to become a 4-time welterweight champion. So who will win the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao? Traditional wisdom would suggest that the odds are heavily against Pacquiao. Not only will it have been more than 25 months since Pacquiao's last bout, but Pacquiao is 42 years old. Allow me to repeat that. Pacquiao is 42 years old. The Pac-Man is no spring chicken, but at the same time, Pacquiao is no ordinary 42-year-old. He's a living legend who's coming off one of his best performances in years, even if that performance will have happened more than 2 years ago come fight night. In my humble opinion, what this matchup boils down to is how much does Pacquiao have left at 42 years old? If this were a prime welterweight Pacquiao from 10 to 12 years ago, I think most observers would agree that Pacquiao would be a heavy favorite, especially since, in terms of the clash of styles, Pacquiao tended to excel against pressure boxers. Pacquiao tended to struggle more against guys who relied more on countering as opposed to pressure. In that sense, this style matchup is arguably more favorable for Pac-Man than may have been the case against Terrence Crawford. But this isn't prime Pacquiao. This is 42-year-old Pacquiao coming off of the longest period of inactivity in the professional ranks. Now, it's possible that the long layoff won't hurt Pacquiao as much as common wisdom might otherwise suggest. Indeed, it's perhaps even possible that when discussing an extraordinary athlete like Pacquiao at an advanced age, that maybe the layoff could have helped him in terms of being fresh. Maybe. And maybe stylistically, Pacquiao may still have enough left in his ample bag of tricks to exploit Spence's pressure style to his advantage. But the best case scenario here for Pacquiao is to put forth the type of effort he mustered back when he beat Thurman. That victory was, after all, probably the most significant win in the division over these last few years, even if Spence has the better overall body of work in the weight class during that time. But even that version of Pacquiao from the Thurman fight would likely have some major problems against someone as talented and consistent as Spence. Because if nothing else, Spence is very consistent and he is exceptionally good at doing what he does best. Now, I don't think Pacquiao is likely to get old overnight because he is a special boxer. Obviously, if Pacquiao does get old overnight in this one, Spence will likely dominate the action for as long as it lasts. In that case, it may wind up being a full circle deal here, where Pacquiao loses against Spence in the same way he broke through at 147 13 years ago against Oscar De La Hoya. But assuming Pacquiao doesn't get old overnight, I still have a difficult time believing that he will be able to put forth the same type of tremendous effort he did against Thurman. In other words, I don't think Pacquiao will get old overnight, but I also do not believe he will exhibit the same form he displayed against Thurman, and that doesn't bode well for Pac-Man. Simply put, I'm having a difficult time envisioning a realistic scenario where Pacquiao beats Spence. I'm just not seeing it. But what the hell do I know? I don't know shit about boxing, and Pacquiao has defied the odds throughout his professional boxing career. Pacquiao has proven me wrong numerous times. The only time I ever picked against Pacquiao when I was correct was his first fight against El Terrible, Eric Morales. But I was wrong when Pacquiao beat Barrera in their first fight. I was wrong when Pacquiao beat Morales in their rematch. I was wrong when Pacquiao dominated De La Hoya. I was wrong when Pacquiao defeated Tim Bradley in their rubber match. And I was wrong when Manny Pacquiao turned back the clock to beat Keith Thurman. On the flip side, I've been wrong picking Pacquiao as a winner in the past too, such as his loss in the first fight with Bradley, his loss in his fourth and final fight against Juan Manuel Marquez. Then there was his fight he lost against Jeff Horn, and of course the bout against Floyd Mayweather Jr. I genuinely believed Pacquiao would beat Mayweather, and that didn't happen. Pacquiao lost those 4 fights, although it should be noted the loss against Bradley was a controversial one. But the point is, regarding Pacquiao, I've been wrong before, and I am not completely counting him out here. Pacquiao is too talented and too proven to ever write him off completely. All of that being said, for my official prediction, I am taking Errol Spence Jr. by 12-round unanimous decision. I think Pacquiao may cause Spence some trouble in the earlier rounds, but ultimately I'm expecting we will once again see Spence doing what Spence does best, where he works behind an intelligent jab and applies effective pressure to outbox the old living legend. But whatever happens, I am very much looking forward to this fight, and may the best man win on that night. So who do you think will win between Errol Spence Jr. and Manny Pacquiao? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.